Hi, on this episode we'll be having a look at a Fisher Paykel dryer that's not drying properly. I'll be showing you how to fix that problem. So usually when you put it on, you turn it on and then after a few minutes you see it's done or the clothes come out still damp. I'll be showing you how to fix that problem. So you actually need to clean it. The problem will be that there's a lot of lint stuck in the dryer. So this will apply to most Fisher Paykel condenser dryers. These types, yours might not look exactly like this, but as long as it's a condenser dryer, one that you collect the water from this. So most Fisher Paykel dryers, the condenser ones, you can collect the water from this tank over here. So if yours has one of those, then this will apply to you. And so we normally, when you open your Fisher Paykel dryer, you open the door and then you see the lint filter. So that's the first thing I'll be needing you guys to open and clean. So to clean the lint filter, so you're supposed to clean it after each load, because for condenser dryers to dry properly, there has to be a free flow of air. So if you don't clean this regularly, that will become blocked and then the heat won't be passing around properly, and then you'll see that your dryer is not drying properly. So to remove it, you just lift it out of the dryer and then you can pop it open like that and then you can clean it up. After each load, you need to do that. So if you're getting your dryer showing you no heat or it's just damp after a cycle, this is probably something you need to do first. Or if you see it's taking too long to dry, this process that I'm going to show you guys is what you need to be doing. So the next thing we're going to need to do is, there is a sensor just down here. It's going to get the camera in there so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, if it's clear enough. So if you look down there, there is this pin-sized thing, that metallic little thing that looks like a needle, just there where my finger is. So if you look in your dryer, it's about the only thing that's metal that you can see in there. Everything else is like plastic. And you can see around that there's a lot of lint. See all this lint? That sensor should be clear of any lint, because that's what measures if your clothes are dry or not. So if that is clogged up, that's when you get the heating issues and your dryer and your clothes come out damp, or it's just taking too long to dry. So what you're going to need to do is just grab yourself your vacuum cleaner and then just get in there and vacuum all that lint out of there, because that's restricting the full flow of air and leaving some moisture in there, then confusing your dryer to think that the clothes are done or they're not done yet. So that's the first step that we're going to take, is we're going to do that and then we'll go to the other step. So the next step after that is this bottom left hand corner. There is a condensing unit there. That's where all the magic happens. So as the dryer turns around, as this turns around, this drum turns around, the air blows through the back there and then comes in and then comes through here. So what you need to do is, there's a condensing unit in here. You just pop this open. So this cover, you can just pull it down and opens just like that. I'll just move in the camera so that you can get a better vantage point. Okay, beautiful. So we're down here and we're gonna remove this condensing unit. So just to remove it, there's two clips holding it in place, 1 and 2. Just pop them up and pull this towards you. So as you pull it, it starts coming out. And this is what it looks like. So you pull it out, and you can already see there's a lot of lint in there. There's lint there. That's restricting airflow. So the air is supposed to be flowing through that and through that, and then making its way around, and then the water draining out of there. But if there's lint in there, it's not going to condense and then form into water and then go into your tank. So you need to clean this. So to clean this, it's pretty simple. Just take this with you and go to your tap. Or if you've got a high pressure water hose or your garden hose, you can use that to clean it. Let's see how we can clean it together. So what you're gonna need to do is grab your high pressure hose, and then you can use that to clean your condensing unit. So I've got a trick that I use. I just use the hose from my washing machine. If you're close to your washing machine, just take it off the washer, and then as you look inside there, you can see all this lint, and I usually like to do it, this is the back, down to the front, so that it just goes down all that way. As you can see in there, you're supposed to clearly see through that, like through a window, but some of those are clogged up because of that lint. So we're gonna spray that out with our hose. So we just do it like so. So high pressure, cleaning it out. Like that. So it's under high pressure like that. That's what you need. Still a few spots there, so you can just look through it to make sure that there's no obstruction still there. I can still see a few in mine, so I'm going to go ahead and keep cleaning it. So that's, you see, it's almost there. So that's how you do it. And so this will free up that airflow, because if it's clogged up, it's not going to dry properly. So we need to clean it properly. This, you probably need to do it every maybe year, just to make sure that it doesn't clog up. And then if it gets clogged up sometimes, that's why you start getting error 4, meaning that your heating element has been under a lot of strain, and then the thermostat that protects your dryer from catching fire is set off. It's like a fuse. So usually when those go off, it's hard to reset them. You reset them, but they keep going off. So this is how you avoid that problem. Now that we're done, there's a second step that we need to take on the dryer as well. All right, so what we need to do now is we need to check if there's any lint at the back of the dryer. So at the back, there's also another passage there that creates airflow. That's where your fan is that blows the heat. We need to make sure there's no lint there that's blocking any movement of air, because if that's blocked, that's going to create problems. So to do that, you're going to need to grab yourself a power drill with a screwdriver on it, or if you don't have one, grab yourself a manual drill. It's going to be a long process because you have about 10 screws to remove at the back, but if you've got patience, you can do it. So let's grab ourselves a Phillips head screwdriver and turn the dryer around and see which screws we're going to remove, and have a look at what it looks like inside. So taking a look at the back there, that's this black cover at the back. That black cover is what we need to remove. It's a black cover with a silver bit on it. It's actually just a metal plate. That black piece is like the soundproofing or something that they put on it. So we need to remove all those screws around it in order to access the fan and the passages that pass the air. So we're going to remove those screws. There's probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, roughly 10, which we're going to remove and see how it's going in there. Once we've got all those screws out, this just simply pops off. So there is some adhesive that they put in the factory, so don't be afraid to pry it open, it'll come off. So just take it apart like that. There you go. Pretty simple, came off easy. So you can see that adhesive that I'm talking about. So there'll be some here. So when you put it back, you don't need to worry about putting any adhesive on this side. If you want, you can use silicone, just some sealant, some silicone sealant, waterproof one, and probably heat resistant to about 60 degrees. And you just want to put it along the bottom, because at the bottom here, it usually leaks if you don't put any silicone there, any sealant there. So around the bottom here, this is where it starts leaking from if you don't seal it properly when you close it. So you can see at the back here, we've got our heater here that creates the heat. So the process goes like this for your dryer to work. This fan is blowing, and as it's blowing air into this passage, and this passage goes through the heater. And then this heater, that air is heated up and goes into the drum. That's where your clothes are. So this whole process, and then goes into the condensing unit that we cleaned before. This whole process is what actually dries your clothes. So you need to make sure that this is all clear, all nice and clean. So as you can see here, this is not too bad, but sometimes it's really clogged up in there. So you need to make sure that that's clean. Then over here, you've got this heater. Sometimes when it's not heating properly, when you see yours not heating properly or not drying properly, this resettable thermostat has gone off because it's detected that it's getting too hot and there's no good flow of air. So to reset it, you just press that and then that should work again. But if you've reset it, cleaned it, and keeps coming up, then you'd need to change that heating element because it's gone off. So that's how you do it. So evidently you can see that a lot of lint gathers up in here, and you can see that if you were to actually open up the whole machine, you can actually see that in some of these spaces that there's a lot of lint in there. To protect against that, what you need to do is, if you clean your filter on every dry cycle, after every dry cycle, you won't get these problems. But if you leave it for too long, some of that lint is going to escape and go into your condensing unit and also end up at the back here. So if you want to investigate further, what we do is we can actually pop this off and have a look inside. There's 4 screws holding it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pretty simple. 3 and 4. Beautiful. That's how, and you can see that there's some lint in there. That's actually lint. Yeah, there is some padding there, but not actually supposed to have that there. Don't know what that's doing there. It's not doing anything. All right, there you go. That's a whole heap of lint that's not supposed to be there, but is there. All right, so we can see here that it's nice and clean, and that also gives you a chance to have a look at your heating element from out down there. You can go into like removing all this if you want. To remove your heater, there's only about 2 screws at the bottom holding it. If you're interested in changing it, if you want to change it, I'll probably post a separate video on how to do that. That goes beyond the scope of this video, but that's how you clean it. Yeah, so in the dryer where you remove that condensing unit, you need to also have a look what's happening in there. So as you can just use your torch or something and have a look in there, you can clearly see that there's a bit of lint in there. All that needs to be cleaned, and make sure that where the rubber seals here, like just here where I'm pointing my finger, here, this needs to be clear. So all this lint needs to go. All that needs to go because it needs to be a perfect seal. And the same thing goes at the back because there's 2 seals, one for the front and one for the back. If it doesn't seal properly, that's when you get leakages of that heat, and that condensation process doesn't go on as it should be planned. So that's how you take care of that problem. If you found any value in this video, or if you have any questions, comment in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to help as always. And gently smash that like button. It goes a long way to help this channel. Consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed before. I do post a lot of these videos, DIY videos on repairing these, reviews of the new ones, and if you ever having any problems with yours, I'll be sure to have a video somewhere or make a video just for you if I have it. So thanks for tuning in. Till next time, cheers.